N.U.B.Y.
Welcome to another episode of the In Crowd. I am your host and co-founder of N.U.B.Y, J.Love. And as you know, on the In Crowd, it is our goal to engage and entertain and educate our viewers on what's going on in the community, and also show some support and highlight people who are making a positive impact on the community. And with that being said, today's guest is none other than Erik Johnson, a dear friend of mine for over 20 years, and one of the original members of N.U.B.Y back when it was just a strong brotherhood, a clique, and many other things before we got to where we are right now. So before we get started with our guest, we like to ask the question of how are the children, which comes from the Maasai tribe, which was a fierce African tribe who felt like whatever they did, it was to benefit their kids, because if the kids were good, then life was good. So now that we have our guest Erik, we can ask him, how are the children, Erik?
Man, the children are wonderful, man, wonderful. You know, I got two beautiful girls, got a slew of nephews and nieces. They all are in great health, and you know, it's all about them, man. This is what we do this for now. You know, we at the point where it's all about legacy now, so that's what we're on right now. Okay. How are the children on your side, man?
Man, they doing good, man. Growing, they active. You know, I'm trying to keep up with them, but thank you for asking. The kids are good. So now, Erik, you have your own streetwear brand. And now, before we dig deeper into that, we're going to take a trip back down memory lane. We're going to talk about your childhood. So can you tell us what your childhood was like?
Man, the childhood was good. I was the last child. I was the baby. I had two older brothers, one older sister. Household just full of action all the time. I provided the action most of the time, being a little spoiled brat. But other than that, moms and pops, you know, I was raised with moms and pops in the household. North side of Milwaukee, man, just trying to make it, you know.
All right. So now, what are some things that stood out to you during the time that you were in elementary school? You know, we have a strong focus on the youth and on education. So what stood out to you about elementary school?
Elementary school, let's see, that's when I first started. I believe I was an ex-sports guy, right? So that's when I first started to notice trends and started to notice that who were leaders, who were followers, and everything started to break up from there. Who was like the leaders, who made the decisions, who was the cool kids, who weren't the cool kids, and whatnot. That was really interesting to me.
Okay, so now as we move into junior high and high school, what are some of the things that stood out to you about that time in your life?
It was high school stood out the most to me. That is when I started that was probably the most pivotal part of my life, because it started to I was introduced to N.U.B.Y world then, right? And that was one of the leaders that kind of changed me into saying like, hey, I am a leader. You know, I am a person that people can follow. I can adjust the culture. You know, I was a trendsetter, a style shifter. So high school, I met a whole bunch of cool dudes, man, including yourself, you know. And it really just changed my life, man. High school was a big ordeal for me.
Okay, now after high school, tell us about college.
College. So I went to UW-Whitewater, you know what I'm saying? Go Warhawks. I was an IT major, man, going off. I played with graphic design, and I ended up staying with IT, but I kind of found out that, hey, the entrepreneurial role was for me. I was in corporate America for 14 years, you know, left corporate America and kind of just jumped off the porch and decided that, hey, I want to wake up every day doing what I love, doing what I feel can make it not work for me. You know, a lot of people go to work and it's like, oh, I have to go to work. But I wake up and start designing and start marketing and start thinking about what's next, you know, and that's kind of, so now I enjoy life even 2 times more than I have before.
Okay. So now, if you could travel back in time and give some advice to a younger you at any stage in your early childhood or early adulthood, what would that advice be?
Keep working, man. Keep working. Keep your feet moving. You know, like anytime, whether you think you're standing still, whether you're at this dead end job, or whether you don't feel like you have the means right now to make the next step, just keep working. If you are designing clothes, keep drawing booklets, keep drawing designs. if you are in a world that you feel that is you just using it as a stepping stone, know that plan, have that plan, and you can create your own future, you know. So once I had to understand that and understand that I can create the narrative myself, and I don't have to take this job and stay here for 30 years like everybody is suggesting me to, then that's when my life really started to turn into what I wanted to do. So just keep chasing, keep fighting. That's what I would suggest.
Okay, so now let's get into the now. So we are here. You have Save the Children. That is your streetwear brand. Can you tell us what inspired you?
Let's see. I got married a few years ago in 2018 actually, and I went to Houston for my bachelor party. So this is kind of a weird story. I fell in love with Houston, man. Fell in love with it. Noticed how everything, all the Black entrepreneurs were just kind of thriving, and it was all about them, and they were showing love. You know, you go into Houston somewhere, you bump somebody, you step on their toes or step on their shoes. It's what you're drinking, man. Or can I buy that for you? You know, so it was just like, it really inspired me. It really made me turn into this creative. So as you know, trill is kind of a root word that is based in Houston, right? It's in the urban culture, it's combined as true and real. And so I was on the plane back, and it just popped in my head like children, like save the children. That popped in my head. So Houston was a huge inspiration, and I will always show love to Houston, even though I'm from the Midwest, you know, Milltown till I stay down, baby. But that's kind of where it came from, man.
Okay, so now what is your vision or your mission for you and for your brand?
I kind of want to sprinkle the brand across the world. You know, I want to be a worldwide brand. You know, I feel like the name in itself, Save the Children. Everybody, it's a play on the word children, right? And everybody was a child at one point in time, and you were trill. I feel like trill, as a child, you were the realest, the truest form of yourself, right? The most authentic form of yourself. So my brand wants to capture that true and authentic portion of yourself. You know, like, I don't know if like, I have a couple daughters, you know, they used to go into my closet and put my hat on and put my jacket on and come out and play dress up and whatnot. And that was, she thought that was fly, you know? So I want to capture that fly, save it per se, save the children, and just want to mimic that and give it across to the whole world. You know, that's kind of my mission for Save the Children. It's a streetwear brand, but we're not only t-shirts, we're not only hoodies, we have varsity jackets, we're getting into leather goods, we're getting into a whole different world. So just spreading the trill across the world.
There we go. Now, were there any obstacles or roadblocks early on when you were getting the brand off the ground?
Oh, most definitely. Like, I would do tons of listening to podcasts and YouTube vlog sessions and whatnot. And it would say, hey, you have to invest all this kind of money. You have to have all this kind of money. So that was the financial part, was really, I was afraid per se to jumping off the cliff and investing that much money. But like, once, you know, a couple dollars turned into a couple more dollars, and it just I just jumped off the cliff. So it was always a struggle of I wanted to be better than I was before I even started, right? So it's like, you have to start somewhere. You know, I started off with 3 followers, you know. I started off with all my homies, you know. All my homies just had hats, you know, and that's where it started. Like, that was one of the first hats I ever created, right? And that was where I started at. And I feel like you have to start walking before you start running, right? So it's like your immediate people I reached out to, they reached out to another group of audience, another demographic, and it just snowballed from there.
All right, now what makes your brand Save the Children unique?
I would say you being unique in general. The amount of effort that is put into it, like not to knock any other brand, but I feel like all of my designs are well thought through, and they have some kind of background story to it. You know, like if you are a rapper and you hear some bars and you're like, it's maybe a double entendre or a slick bar inside of the rap, and you catch it a little later. It's just like, wow, I feel like my designs, you catch that a little later. So the cool kids know about it, and then the world will soon to know, you know?
Okay. Now, how would you define success for your brand?
Success is, wow. success would be coming off a plane, coming off a car in a whole nother state, whole nother country, and seeing somebody with that S on their chest. You know, like that's success for me right there. That's success.
Now, what motivates you to keep doing this?
Again, I do it for the kids. I do it for myself, man. I was always into buying clothes, the next best thing, the newest trend, the latest and greatest. So I feel like I put the research in already. Even if I didn't have a brand, I feel like I was online looking at the newest trends, the latest trends, what Fashion Week looked like, what other countries look like, what was the next thing, what was that brand, that's coming back. That's the new style. So I'm like, why not hand that off and give it to the world? I used to be really private. I used to always want it one-on-one stuff, like when we used to do the high school thing, man. We did varsity jackets and all that. We wanted to be the one-on-ones. We didn't want anybody to look like us, right? So I feel like as I got older, I'm to the point where, like, you know what? Why just hide that? Why just give it to me? If I know what fly is, let me give that to the world. Let me get it to my city, my state, my nation, and go from there.
All right. Now, what advice would you give to someone that's interested in becoming an entrepreneur?
That's a loaded question, man. If I had to give any advice, I would say fill the void, right? So like if you're looking into myself, if you're getting into the fashion world, the design, when you send an email or you send an inbox to somebody and they don't respond for two days, be that person that responds in 2 hours, or if you don't like the way how certain polos fit, be that designer that is concerned about the fit and not just the look, or, always fill that void. A void is there for a reason, right? To be filled. So the people that fill voids that are the most successful, so when it's like, if in any realm or anything across the country that you talk about, if fast food, McDonald's is so popular because they could give you food in less than 2 minutes. It was a void for there, and thus turning into fast food. So be that person that fills that void, and you will have your niche right there.
There we go. Very valuable advice right there. So now the next portion of the show is called Filling Your Cup. We here at N.U.B.Y World think it's so important that you take the time to prioritize yourself, your mental health, your physical health, just your overall well-being. Now, what are some of the things that you do when you're prioritizing you, when you want to just recharge your own batteries?
Oh man, I'm a big poker guy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I was always a math nerd, a math geek. So that probability and numbers, I love playing, just relaxing, just downloading, playing poker, watching ESPN, watching basketball, playing basketball. I bowl and listen to music, man. Like, to me, other creatives, a dope song, some dope music, some cool music, it just puts me in a whole nother creative space. And sometimes I use other creatives to be creative. Like I hope somebody uses me one day to be like, oh, you know what? That polo is cool, but I will put a little sparkle here, or put a little cotton there, or put some polyester there, and just take the next step. So that's kind of what I use other creatives for as well.
Okay, so now I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. If there was a Save the Children playlist, who would be on that playlist?
Wow. I gotta go with my man Drizzy Drake. I'm a big Kanye fan. I'm a J.Love fan, man. You know what I'm saying? Slim Hustle, one of the greatest albums ever, baby.
Of all time.
Of all time. But I'm in different moods. I'll go off a lot off mood. I ride my bike a lot too, so I got a playlist. I call it Cycling Tunes, right? Okay. And I just like the vibe, just the laid back vibe where I could just put my AirPods in and I could just ride on and just smooth music. So I like all genres of music, but those are a few people that really kind of like put me in another creative space for sure, and that's what I like to do.
Okay. Now here at N.U.B.Y World, we got a strong focus on our youth and on education. So before we wrap it up, what is your message to the youth and anybody that's viewing this video?
Oh, if I had a message to the youth, one tagline that I always like to live by is a business with no sign is a sign of no business. And let me explain that a little bit. I was always told, I had a speaker tell me once that always have an elevator speech for somebody, right? If somebody wants to know what you do, what you are about, have that 30-second elevator speech. If you locked in the elevator with them, be able to tell them your brand in 30 seconds, right? Tell them who you are, what you're about. Because if you don't have a resume, whether you're a business, trying to get a administrative job, a business job, you have a resume, right? So if you are a streetwear brand, tell them what your brand is about. So have business cards, always wear your logo. I never leave the house without my logo on, because I'm always telling them that a business with no sign is a sign of no business. So let them know you have a business. Let them know that you are creative, that you're thriving, and that you're ready for the world.
All right. And with that being said, I want to officially welcome Erik to the In Crowd. Really is not a welcome because he's always been there since day one. And before we wrap things up, Erik, can you please share with us how our viewers can either find some of your products or either just get updates, or where can they go to find more about you and Save the Children?
Man, we're on all social media sites at Save the Children, at Save the Children. We're at www.savethetechildren.com, whether you go to Instagram, TikTok, we're everywhere, man. You can find us everywhere. We have tons of new things launching all the time. We have tons of t-shirts, hoodies, hats, fitteds, dad caps. We got what we got? We're working on some leather goods, man. We got some leather goods coming out. So you want to get your fly fashion travel swag up, check the site, man. We gonna be coming. It's a lot of things that we got coming down the pike, man, and it's gonna be a good year for Save the Children. And it's just gonna be like how I used to be, Fly. How I used to be, baby. When we were in high school, we was I was just telling my daughter the other day, man, like, if we had YouTube and Instagram back when we was doing this, man, we would be somebody.
Right.
Somebody, But that's kind of where you can find us. I hope. And again, if you do reach out to us, we value communication. We value responding. We value quality. We value everything. And that's one of the things that you should always value as a business owner, not alone clothes or any type of room that you are in. Value responding, value communication.
Yeah, and I want to say one thing to the people who view this a lot. Technical difficulties right there. If you're viewing this a lot, you'll notice this hat all the time. It's not because this is my friend, this is my brother, but this is a nice quality piece. So you always gonna see me represent for Erik and represent for Save the Children just on a regular basis. That's just how we get down here at N.U.B.Y World. If something is good, we show our support for it. And now, before we go, Erik, do you have any shout outs that you want to share with us?
Man, I just want to shout out all the N.U.B.Y World organization, man. Like, never underestimate Black youth. This was a big deal, man. This kind of set the trend, and we were just started out as a high school clique crew, and we turned it into something major, man. It's a lot of things coming down the pike. All my co-brands, all my city people, my guys that's grinding, trying to get it out the bottom, whether in the fashion world. Shout everybody out, man. Here at Save the Children, we gonna compete, man. I'm a competitive person. I feel like we are not the same. We are not the same. That's how I feel that we are. We are not the same, baby.
I like that.
Talk to me, I'll talk back. I don't know.
And with that being said, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure to continue to log on to www.newbworld.net and N.U.B.Y World on YouTube. 3 things before we go. First, love yourself. Second, like the video. Third, subscribe. And with that being said, we are out. Say thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. N.U.B.Y.net